Guys, how we doing? Welcome back. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope everyone is doing okay. Shout out to all the subscribers. As always, gratitude to anybody new. Welcome along. Thank you very much for tuning in. Let's talk about Sebastian Fundora defending his title against Tszyu in a rematch. This video is entitled A Gladiator's Calling, meaning, obviously, these two young men are complete gladiators through and through. They fought like gladiators in the first fight. They're probably about to fight like gladiators in this fight. So I wanted to make a theme on this video, which we're also going to be talking about a scientific look at Tszyu's punches, which, if you think about it, you know, in the old gladiator days, they used to have that ball and chain with that spikes on the end. The way he punches like that and the way that mechanics are for boxers when they punch like that, it's like you got a ball and chain on your arm. Let's go.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Boxing.
I think this fight, with no doubt, will steal the show no matter what. You know, the first fight was a fight of the year. You know, I'm gonna say it, that was fight of the decade. You know, you never see that much blood in boxing, and that's what people want to see, you know?
This is gonna be the card. This is gonna be probably the fight. We've got people to compete with in terms of fight of the night, but it's gonna be one hell of a show, and I'm very grateful and very honoured to be on this platform.
Alright guys, let's get straight into it. This is a quote from Dimitri Bivol. Check this out. Relax the arm, but make the fist strong, like a stone. Your arm is the rope, your fist is the stone. Start the punch from the leg, then the lower back, then shoulder, then finally the fist. That's the chain. What he's talking about is your arm basically being a ball and chain, right? And you know, the fist, obviously, being that metal spiky ball in the gladiator days, and that rope that goes round like that, that's your arm. You got to think of punching like that, right? When you whip the shots in like that, you got it's this very, very, very high-tech, complex state of being relaxed to state of
You see, when you throw a punch, it is always done in cooperation with agonist and antagonist muscles. Those are the drivers and the breakers. And in order for the punch to travel in a relaxed and fast and snappy manner, the antagonists have to be relaxed, and you have to teach them to be relaxed, because once again, it is not intuitive knowledge.
But I wanted to bring that in because I found it really interesting. I found it very fitting because of you know, the theme that I'm going with today. But I'm going to do more research on the science of punching. You know, I study it quite hard. It really fascinates me, and I practice it quite hard, and I teach it a little bit. You know what I mean? And but the actual real science of it fascinates me. And obviously Tszyu, his you know, Russian background, right? His dad's Russian, Kostya. And actually in Russia and the USSR, they were fanatics about science, right?
And during the USSR, boxing was not merely a sweet science in the rhetorical sense, but an actual science. We're talking about professors dedicated to one singular sport, publishing encyclopedias of boxing.
They had like professors and, you know, like just high, I say high tech, well, high tech, you know, you've seen that, the Rocky movie, Drago 4, that was real. That was real. They got all the high tech stuff. They've got, you know, the most advanced, like, ideologies regarding sports science back way in the 60s. Plyometrics, I said this before, that was created in the 60s in Russia, USSR. And they were just like, you know, they had studies and stuff like that. They really took it to another level. So, but that ball and chain, you know, the way that Tszyu whips, like some people have referred it to a slingshot, right? And in this shot that I'm showing you against Fundora, where he comes in, boom, like that.
It's really a brutal.
It's like a ball and chain. You're trying to throw the hard part of your fist, right? Or the hard part of, well, your fist, whilst keeping the chain and the rope loose and then tightening it up right at the end. Amazing, fascinating. Anyway, this fight, let's talk about the tail of the tape really quickly, because obviously a 6'6" southpaw junior middleweight Fundora, obviously last time he was coming in, you know, short notice for him, short notice for Tszyu. Very, very difficult circumstances, to be honest with you. And actually, in my pre-fight video that I made the first time, I said it twice. I was like, this fight could be a bit messy. I didn't know it was going to be blood messy. I just thought messy from a limbs perspective. You know, when you fight a bigger guy like that, everything's a bit weird. Things are a bit different. Just the rhythm is just off and awkward. But you know, to be fair, before the cut happened, Tszyu was having a phenomenal couple rounds, really.
Punches in the sport. Oh! And that right hand popping Fundora's head back like a Pepsi dispenser.
And I'm going to highlight what he was doing and what Fundora can do as well. Right now, actually, you know, one of the things Fundora could definitely do, and I spoke about this before, is that Tszyu leans back, right? He'll do this, and like his defense is actually very good when he's parrying shots like that.
Brilliant at moving. He's the aggression with jabs, body shots, and combinations.
And you know, he obviously has a lot of concentration. This was before the cut and before the background fight, obviously. The background fight, defense went out the window. The cut, we can excuse that, of course, he couldn't really see. But prior to that, I've spoken about his defense, and I stand on that. When he's doing it well, he's concentrating, it's actually very good. But one of the, if you want to call it a flaw, it's like part of his game that works, but also leaves him a little bit out, a bit vulnerable, right? He'll do this, and he's got this kind of pouring technique here where he'll parry down shots like that. And he's very good at parrying, but he'll lean back like this, right?
Right foot of Fundora was able to really lay into that right hand.
And when you lean back like that, there's definitely nowhere to go. And Fundora, there's a couple of clips I saw in the first two rounds where if you see the first one where Tszyu leans back, if Fundora would have just thrown that left hand then, he might have landed. But then there's another time where he did lean back like that and Fundora left a left hand straight into his face. And that's something that he can do more of. Something Fundora can't afford to do is get backed up and be hesitant, because he was getting countered.
Fundora's trying to, he doesn't have a real snap jab. It's a very awkward dance. You see with their front feet. It's really a brutal,
which is what happens when you get countered. You know, you get into your shell a little bit. But if Fundora starts backing up, then you know he's far less effective. You know, Tszyu's got to try to put him on the front foot. The biggest question is, and I'll get onto this in a minute, is can he put him on the front foot from what he's just gone through? But you got to back Fundora up. Don't let him go downhill, essentially. You know, don't let him start working that jab and those massive uppercuts, because once he does get you back and backing you up and using his jab, you know, it's a problem. He's a problem. But I think Tszyu's got to try to back him up, right? Try to counter that jab as he was. He was definitely countering that. He was pouring with it a little bit. I spoke about that pre-fight in the first one. He'll kind of leave it out there. Tszyu was nicely countering it and hitting hard right hands and then backing him up. And, you know, he was mixing up that right hand as well to the body.
Tszyu coming in here with all kinds.
Looping it like that with a ball and chain.
And the left hook right hand for Tszyu.
And in straight shots like that.
Breaks down his opponents.
He's pushing it over.
Waiting to time him in there. Explodes again with another right hand with a good.
You know, it was just a very, very good display, and it looked like he was on the path to stopping Fundora, to be honest with you. But we all know what happened. He collided with the legs. That was a southpaw thing. Is that going to be in his head? Do you know what I mean? That's got to be in his head a little bit. The foot positioning of where you're fighting Fundora this time round has to be perfect, because you know what can happen. Then, obviously, that fight happened. He lost his belt to Fundora, went on to fight Backram, which was, you know, well, we've talked about that at length. He was very slightly arrogant in that approach, very underestimated Backram, came in perhaps overconfident, although he came in super confident because he was training so hard and he was like ready to go, but they just underestimated Backram. Didn't have a game plan, didn't know what to do after he got hurt. I'm sure they learned a lot. Seems like he's a bit more humble, you know. Not that he was arrogant, but there was definitely a lot of suggestions that he was perhaps getting a bit too big for his boots. I don't mind a bit of arrogance in fighters, you know. There's a fine line, because arrogance can be, you know, mixed in with you know, self-belief and confidence and stuff, you know. Obviously delusion is in there somewhere as well. I'm not saying being arrogant is necessarily a good thing, because it can be bad, but you have to have that aura about you. But don't underestimate your opponents, and do your research on what to do and what they're doing, you know, because, you know, a lot of us got the background thing wrong, including me. You know, I was using the Jack Colquet fight. There wasn't a lot of footage. He'd been on the side for 2 years. He was fighting Colquet during Ramadan, which was insane, and that's why he looked so shot. He looked awful in that fight, and I was like, there's no way he's going to be able to get any punches together like that. But sure enough, he proved us all wrong. And big up Backram, and Backram's trainer as well. They did their plan on Tszyu. They really knew what punches he was going to throw, how he was going to throw them, where he was going to move, what angles. I mean, he really went deep on it. I've brought up this guy before, I forget his name, but he really went into detail, and hopefully they learned from that and have to do their homework on their opponents. And you know, at that level, you've really got to have a plan A to D, you know, you really do. So, tremendous fight, it really is. I'm very excited about this fight. I'm going to be working, so I'm going to miss it, but I'll catch it on, I'll try to catch it as I'm working, but I'll definitely watch it on Sunday somehow. I'll get it back, but I feel like there's more stuff I was going to talk about too. Let me see, let me just check my notes really quickly. Yeah, most of it there. His neurological state, right? This is actually quite important, because when you do go through those wars, which, you know, the bloody war that you had with Fundora in the first fight, that's got to take a little bit out of you. Fought extremely courageously, fought like a gladiator, right? Unbelievable, both of them. Fundora's an absolute extreme gladiator too. Love listening to his interviews. He's just such a great kid. They're both great for the sport. Salute to both of those gladiators, you know. But then obviously the background thing, it's not just the psychological aspect of getting over it, which I think he'll be completely fine because he's so tough. It's the neurological, what's happened to his chin, because it's not going to go up, right? Yes, you can mentally prepare your chin to take better punches, you really can, but it's still going to be at a level, and it's still going to be on the decline, I guess, if you keep getting punched like that, you know. And that background experience can't have been good for him. So you do wonder, because I'm saying, like, actually I forgot to mention this, when he's backing Tszyu up, if he can back when Tszyu's got to back up Fundora, obviously, but question is, can he? Because if you're backing up somebody, you're bringing yourself, obviously his old self, that he was doing that in the first 2 rounds, that was, none of the stuff had happened to him at that point, obviously. So can he do that again? That's my biggest question, because I think it's a closer fight this time because of what's happened to him. Obviously Fundora for Brooker, is that his name? I watched that fight the other day. That guy was just doing exactly what I was saying. When you're backing up like that and you let this massive 6'6" southpaw just come in with those jabs like that and then throw a combination, you are a sitting duck, and he's just going down. He's going to steam downhill, steamroll you. So I think Tszyu has got to back him up if he can. When I say if he can, if he has the confidence in his chin, in his neurological, I hope he does. I think he probably does. That's a big factor. But I do think it's a closer fight, you know, than before. I do think he'll have his. I don't think he'll be as successful as he was in the first 2 rounds, because he was sharp, man. He's a sharper puncher than Fundora for sure. But they've both got immense bravery, you know. But I think Tszyu should probably get the job done. I think it might be a bit more difficult, might take a bit longer. I say a bit longer, he went 12 last time. I just mean, you know, it looked like it was going to be a mid to late stoppage, to be honest with you, the first one. But I think, I don't know if it's going to be a stoppage. I don't know, to be honest. Let me know what you guys think. I'm probably leaning towards Tszyu on points, to be honest with you. But I think it's not going to be like as clear cut as last time. And we're going to find out a lot more about both these guys, especially Tszyu, where he's at. Because the Joey Spencer fight, let's be honest, we didn't really find out much about that. I didn't expect Joey Spencer to bring that much. I thought the fight would go a lot longer than it did, but I didn't expect Joey Spencer to be a test whatsoever. But it's a great fight, you know what I mean? I really like the fight. It's very intriguing. It's always great to see somebody come back from such adversity. And both of these guys are capable of doing it. They have done it. Fundora's done it. He's literally done it. Tszyu's done it. That's what makes it an even better fight, because they've both come back for brutal knockouts. And you've got to take your hat off, man. Superhuman beings, these guys. So let me know your thoughts. Drop a comment on your prediction. And also, this channel, I touched on a bit of art in the little intro, right? And I talked about science. I'm going to end on a bit of art. I'm going to do my best Hans Zimmer impression at the end. I'm trying to recreate those Gladiators strings, you know, from the movie. It's one of my favourite movies, hence why I brought in a bunch of little clips from it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Smash the like button if you enjoyed it. It's got to come from here. Peace. I'm out.